So we're going to compare these three numbers using our greater than, less than, and equal to symbols. You're going to compare the first two. You're going to compare the first two, and then you're going to compare the second two. All right. Take a second and look at the numbers to figure out which one out of these two is greater, and then which one out of these two is greater. 10 more seconds. If you need more time, you can pause the video. All right, so the first number was 472, the second number is 274, and the third number is 724. Looking at these two numbers, which number is greater? If you said 472, you are correct. And you would put this symbol because, like we discussed, the smaller number eats the bigger number. All right, so how do we know that the 472 is bigger than or greater than 274 by looking at our place value chart? Right, so if we look at our hundreds, we see that 472 has 4 hundreds and 274 only has 2 hundreds. So 472 must be greater. Let's look at 274 and 724. Which number is greater? Awesome, 724 is greater. So what symbol would we put? If you put this, then you're correct, because the smaller number eats the bigger number, so the mouth should be open to the bigger number. How do we know that 724 is greater than 274? Yes, if we look in the hundreds place, we can see that 724 has 7 hundreds, while 274 only has 2 hundreds. So to read this, we would say that 472 is greater than 274, and 274 is less than 724. Or, if we read it the other way, 724 is greater than 274, and 274 is less than 472. Remember, one more time, that the mouth always opens to the bigger number because the smaller number eats the bigger number. Doesn't matter how many numbers that we have. All right, so let's practice some together. I'm going to erase my screen. All right, I want you to put the following numbers onto your place value charts. 132, 110, 120, 130, 131, 132. On the next one, put 312, 100, 200, 300, 310, 311, 312, and 213. 100, 200, 210, 211, 212, 213. Here's 132, 312, and 213. Go ahead and compare these numbers, figure out which one is greater between these two, and then which one is greater between these two numbers. And then put your greater than, less than, or equal to symbols onto your paper. 10 more seconds. If you need more time, you can pause the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's look at 132 and 312. Which number is greater? Awesome, 312 is greater. So we're going to write our symbol that shows us that 312 is the greater number. The smaller number eats the bigger number. So that's the sign we will put. Now let's look at 312 and 213. Which number is greater? 312. Great. So now we're going to put the symbol that shows us that 312 is greater. What sign are we going to put? This one. Great, because the smaller number eats the bigger number. So to read this sentence from left to right, 132 is less than 312. 312 is greater than 213. Let's clear the screen. All right. Now I'm just going to write two numbers, and I want you guys to tell me which one is greater. 97 and 102. Which number is greater? Awesome. 102 is greater. What symbol are we going to put? This one, because the little smaller number eats the bigger number. So this sentence would read from left to right, 97 is less than 102. Let's try another one. 184 and 159. Write the symbol that's going to show us which number is greater. Awesome. 184 is greater. We're going to do this symbol because the smaller number eats the bigger number. So to read this sentence, it would say 184 is greater than 159. Let's try two more. 213, 206. Which number is greater? Awesome, 213. What symbol did you write? If you wrote this, you are incorrect because we said that the smaller number is the bigger number. If you wrote this, you are correct. To read this sentence, 213 is greater than 206. The arrow or the symbol's facing this way because the smaller number eats the bigger number. Let's try one last one. 465 and 456. Look carefully because this one's a little tricky. All right, which number is greater? Awesome, 465. What symbol are we going to write? We're going to do this one because the smaller number eats the bigger number. How did we know that 465 was greater than 456? Wonderful. We looked at the tens because both numbers have 4 in the hundreds place, so that was the same. But 465 has 6 tens and 456 only has 5 tens, so 465 has to be greater. So to read this sentence, 465 is greater than 456. All right. Grab a fresh sheet of paper because now it's time for your exit ticket. On each of these problems, you are going to use the symbols that we have been using. Greater than, less than, or equal to. You'll look at each problem and you'll figure out which number is greater. And then you'll write your symbol. The smaller number always eats the bigger number. Okay? Number 4 has the number written in written form, so make sure you pay attention to what number this actually is. Number 5 and number 6 have the number written in expanded form. So pay attention to figure out what number this is. And then numbers 5, 7, and 8 has it broken down into unit form. So make sure that you pay attention to what numbers those are. It may be easiest to go through and actually write the standard form of each one of these numbers so that you know which two numbers you're comparing instead of trying to figure it out as you're going. All right, once you're done your exit ticket, make sure to take a picture of it and have your parents send it to me so that I can see that you did your work and that it was correct. I look forward to seeing what you do. See you next week.